If you all will look up at the monitor, you will see that this is the Spalding County State Court. My name is Josh Thacker. I'm your judge, and this is the ticket arraignment calendar. I want to start out by saying that here in the Spalding County State Court, we believe that each and every one of you, as you interact with this court, deserve the respect and the dignity that you wish for someone you care about. We will extend that to each and every one of you as we interact with you all here today. And hey, we're actually live feeding out on YouTube if you want to watch out there. Your baby's adorable, by the way. So you forget that they're that small. Mine are teenagers and they smell funny. Okay. All right. So please don't talk during court. Our goal is to return you to your lives promptly. We cannot do that if you're having sidebar conversations. And frankly, I won't have much patience for it. All right. For those of you who virtual appeared, which you are the folks from yesterday, but you're still here, go ahead and grab a pen and a piece of paper for me to give you directions. And just know that you can't unmute yourself until I come talk to you. All right, cell phones. So earlier I came out before court started and asked you to turn your phones on so that you could figure out if you wanted to have a conference and follow those directions. Now I'm asking everybody to go ahead and pull your phones out and turn them off. So at this point forward, I need them off because they ping and ding and chirp. And frankly, yesterday's crowd wore me out. And so unfortunately for y'all, you're already starting at a deficit because we had 3 phones ring yesterday and I came this close to locking somebody up. So y'all are already at the lid. So please, please, please don't test me on that. All right, this is the correct courtroom for you. If you were issued a citation here in Spalding County, that citation directed you to appear today, this would have been the GSP troopers would have made this calendar for us. If what I'm saying does not sound correct, feel free to step out into the hallway. There's a bailiff out there. They will take a look at your paperwork and make sure you're in the right courtroom because a lot of times, did anybody here get a ticket from the Griffin Police Department? You did? Okay, so show the bailiffs your ticket. If you got your ticket from the Griffin Police Department, they usually have court on Tuesday mornings, and you might very well be in the wrong courtroom. Again, if you think you have a ticket from the Griffin Police Department, step out the hallway, show the bailiff your paperwork. If you're in the right courtroom, they'll send you back in. All right, today is what's called your arraignment day. I'm going to go over your rights with you. I'm going to tell you what your options are, and then you or your attorney is going to tell me what to do with your case. You may have a trial. There are 2 types of trials. There's a jury trial where 6 jurors sit in that box over there to your left to decide guilt or innocence on your charges. And then there is a bench trial where I make the decision with no jury present. You may ask for a conference with the solicitor's office if you wish. And that's this group up here to your left. They represent the state of Georgia. And then you can ask me about getting an attorney, and I will give you directions on how to apply with the public defender's office today. All right, your charges in this courtroom are misdemeanors. The average misdemeanor carries a maximum punishment of 12 months to serve in the Spalding County Jail and or $1,000 fine. A few minor traffic charges like seatbelt have a lower maximum fine, and a few high and aggravated misdemeanors have up to a $5,000 maximum fine. Now, each of you here have the right to a speedy and public jury trial, where 6 citizens of Spalding County decide guilt or innocence on each of your charges. Again, you can choose a bench trial. That's where you give me permission to make the guilt or innocence decision with no jury present. You may waive your right to a trial and close your case with a plea if you so choose. I have no preference. You must knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently choose for yourself. Now, you have the right to be presumed innocent. You have the right to force the state to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to cross-examine the state's witnesses, to subpoena your own witnesses and evidence to court. You have the right to testify or not testify. You have the right not to incriminate yourself. And if you choose to remain silent, that silence cannot be held against you. All right, each of you here have the right to have an attorney. You may hire your own if you so choose. However, if you cannot afford an attorney, then you'll be given an opportunity today to go down the street to the public defender's office to apply for their services. Now, this is the warning, and I'm amazed at how many people test me on this. If you do not take action ASAP to secure the public defender's office, you will very likely hear me say that you have waived the right to apply for their services at your next court date. Now, an attorney would help you understand our criminal justice system, would explain what your charges are and what the defenses are to those charges, file motions on your behalf, engage in plea negotiations, subpoena witnesses and evidence for your defense, conduct a trial on your behalf, make objections, protect your record, appeal any convictions, and otherwise just work to protect you. All right, it is my responsibility to explain first offender and conditional discharge. These each allow you to enter a guilty plea without being convicted, but you only get one of each for your entire life. First offender is for everything but traffic-related charges, and then conditional discharge is for drug-related charges only. All right, nolo contendere and traffic charges. This applies to almost every one of you here. We call this a nolo plea for short. It's where you enter a guilty plea without admitting guilt on a traffic charge. No DUIs. You get one nolo every 5 years, and that is measured from incident date to incident date, ticket date to ticket date. A nolo will usually prevent points. It'll usually save your license. It won't help you much if you're under 21. All right, if you are here today and you are not a U.S. citizen, you need to know that any conviction will very likely have a negative impact on your immigration status. All right, habeas corpus. My job is to explain this weird old law called habeas corpus. And here's my best explanation. If you're convicted of these charges here in state court, you may sue Spalding County civilly over in Superior Court to challenge your conviction. I know, weird old law. But what I really need you to know is how long you have until those rights expire. So for your purposes, most of you here today with traffic charges have 6 months from the date of conviction to use those rights before they expire. And everything else in this courtroom has 12 months to use the habeas rights before they expire. All right, you make conference today with the solicitor's office. And if that's what you want to do, when you hear your name called, you'll announce conference. You'll remain here in the courtroom other than a quick bathroom break until your name is called. If you have an attorney, actually I don't have any attorneys here. All right, so you will meet with the solicitor's office. Again, that's this group up here to your left. They represent the state of Georgia. They are not your attorney. If you reach an agreement with them to resolve your case, great. If you don't reach an agreement with them to resolve your case, that's also great. If you don't like what they're offering, just say no thank you and tell them that you would like a trial. Or you can also tell any one of the court's bailiffs that you would like to have a trial. Now, some of you may choose to close your payable tickets without a trial. If that is what you want to do, then you really have 3 options to close a payable ticket without a trial. The first is you have the fine amount and you want to pay it in full. The second is, on the other end of the spectrum, is that you don't have the fine amount and you enter a plea and you go on probation with me. That probation usually terminates upon completion. But last January, over a year ago, we rolled out this 30 by 30 program and it has worked very well. So how it works is you don't have the fine amount, but you don't want to go on probation and it's a payable ticket. You have a conference with the solicitor's office, at which point you negotiate a probated sentence, but it is agreed that I will delay the start of your probation by 30 days. And in that 30 days, you are not on probation and you can pay your ticket off with sentence enforcement before the 30 days is up. You also pay a $30 program fee to participate in that program. If you're successful, then you can tell people that you closed your case without probation. So that's how that works. If you're unsuccessful, no problem. Your probation starts automatically 31 days out, and it's still usually terminated upon completion. So it gives you all a couple of layers to try to get your cases closed without it. This has been a very successful program. We did some quick anecdotal math. We think about 85% of the people who participate in that program have successfully closed their cases. All right, if you receive probation today, you need to know that you'll be supervised by the Spalding County Sentence Enforcement. It's a little slow today, the internet is. There will be a $25 intake fee on your case. There will be a $50 per month supervision fee on your case. And then lastly, your $50 supervision fee is mandatory, but it can be waived after a separate hearing before me. Okay, for those of you that choose to move your case to the trial calendar, this is what you need to plan for. All the trials, jury and bench, go on the same 2-week trial calendar for those of you that move your case to a trial calendar. In week 1, you'll be called to attend your calendar call. Then we'll all skip a week in the middle and do some other court. And then in week 2, the jury trials and bench trials will begin at 9 a.m. sharp on that Monday. You will appear each and every day until your case is resolved. We will run 2 or 3 courtrooms in week 2, and we will reach your case for trial. All right. Do you want to help your friends and family? Because bench warrants are going to be issued today for the defendants who failed to appear. If you know somebody who is not here, call them, tell them to get down here ASAP, and you will definitely save them a great deal of future trouble. All right, so we're about to call the calendar. Ms. Tony's actually going to call it from her seat there. When you call it and when you hear your name called, stand up for me so I can see who we're addressing. If you cannot stand up, that's okay. Just wave your hand real high and get my attention. Nobody has an attorney here, so what you're going to do is when you hear your name called, you're going to stand up and then you're going to pretty loudly yell out jury trial or bench trial or conference or attorney. And then raise your hand real quick if you're under 21. Any under 21s here? Okay, you need to announce that when you hear your name called, because Georgia law separates 21 and over drivers versus 20 and under drivers differently. That's just what we have to sort out. So, okay, Ms. Tony, the floor's yours.
Latoya Allen. Request failure to appear. Raphael Baker. Request failure to appear. Nazir Berry. Request failure to appear. William Bogan.
All right, thank you.
El Sharif Brandon. Request failure to appear. Lexington Bryant. Conference. Justin Buck.
Conference. 21.
All right, thank you.
Christopher Castillo.
Conference.
Thank you.
Lamont Clark. Request failure to appear. Jasmine Collier. Conference.
Actually, I'm back up on Clark. I'm actually going to do a warrant down on that one. Now that I think about it for a second.
He's in traffic.
Do what?
He's in traffic. 75. I told him how long.
Oh, 32 is fine.
Yeah, there's a terrible wreck on 75.
Okay.
Fatality wreck out there.
All right, we'll just leave it as it is.
Pablo Coya. Request failure to appear. Damian Cervantes. First name starts with an O. Damian Cervantes. Request failure to appear. Philip Duncan.
Yes. All right. Do you want to talk to the public defender's office?
I swear to get taken care of.
Well, that's two different. Okay, so look, other folks may have the same questions. So let's just do this with you, and this may answer some other questions. So, again, if you choose jury trial or bench trial, I'm going to send you right on out the door, and you're going to go for the day. If you're trying to resolve it today, then you're going to want to have a conference with the solicitor's office and see about resolving it. Either way, that's fine. I just want to make certain that you make an informed decision and that you're confident in the choice that you've made. Conference it is? Okay. No. Remember me telling y'all we're really good at what we do? We're about to split off and start doing multiple things at the same time. Mr. Shepard, floor's yours.
Thank you, Judge. When I call your name, if you go out the double doors over here to my right, your left, William Bogan, Lexington Bryant, Justin Buck, Christopher Castillo,
Bless you.
Jasmine Collier, and Philip Duncan. Thank you.
Whatever you do the best of your abilities. All right. We're good to go.
Stephen Finley.
Oh, that's Dutton. It's probably a waiver. Either way, let's set it aside. It's Dutton. We'll need to see if there's something there.
Oliver Ferreira.
Yeah, conference.
Conference, thank you.
Shawnee Fisher.
Thank you.
Moreno Flores.
Conference.
Thank you.
Ryan Fugit.
Conference.
Thank you.
Carlos Gonzalez Atencio. Request bench warrant.
Granted.
Maisha Greer.
Thank you.
Rebecca Hadaway.
She has two separate cases.
Request failure to appear in both cases. Amar Hamoud Al Nasari. Request failure to appear. Jamo Colden.
Thank you.
Charlene Horn.
Conference.
Thank you.
Brian Ivy. Request failure to appear. Steve Jean.
Conference.
Thank you.
Joshua Jensen. Request failure to appear. Dontasia Knuckles.
Conference.
Thank you.
Tawan McFarland.
Conference.
McQuavius Miller. Request failure to appear. Shedrick Moses.
Conference.
Thank you.
Jeremy Ogletree. Request failure to appear. O'Queen Patterson.
Conference.
Thank you.
Nicholas Phillips.
Conference.
Thank you.
Alexandria Quick. Conference.
Thank you.
Tyson Rashid Childress. Request failure to appear. Fanny Suter.
Thank you.
Sharika Talmadge. Request failure to appear. James Thomason.
Conference.
Thank you.
Janie Tootson. Request failure to appear. Jordanis Vasquez Penate. Request failure to appear. Chandra White. Request failure to appear. Clarence Williams.
Conference.
Thank you.
Quincy Zellner. Request failure to appear.
All right. All right. Couple of announcements to sweep everybody else up. Is there, and I'll talk to my virtual people in just a second. Is there anyone here whose name was not called? If so, stand up for me. There should be a good handful of you. It's okay. All right. So, yes, Mr. Nelson, I saw you there. All right. So, this is Sean Nelson. There it is. This afternoon's calendar, 20 TK 1978. What do you want to do with your case, Mr. Nelson?
Conference.
Thank you. I should disclose I represented Mr. Nelson when I was in private practice. All right, anybody else? All right, in the back, nice and loud?
Avery, Black, GLANQN. He's on 130.
He's on there. Okay. Y'all okay going in and seeing those folks this morning? Yeah, okay.
Avery Glanton.
Is that right?
Glanton.
Yes, there he is. Page 5. Conference? All right. All right, anybody else whose name I didn't call? All right, so I have, I guess your two folks you spoke with yesterday, Jackson and Carlisle. I'll talk to them in just a minute, once you can fill me in. Other than that, do you want me to make the announcements as to what we're gonna do next? Okay. All right, so a couple of announcements, to make certain that everybody knows what we're doing next. So, what I need to do is I need to get Miss Tony back to her office so that they can start doing 2 sets of conferences at the same time. Mr. Shepherd's already back there with the first group. So what we're gonna do is this, it's 9:31 right now. What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna let them step on out. I'm going to talk to the virtual folks. Once I finish talking to the virtual folks, I'll give you all additional directions. So if y'all will just sit tight just for a minute, let me finish up this round, and then I'll give you next set. Ms. Milton, do you want to go ahead and call another round?
I'm gonna see what it's
That's fine.
like back there.
That's what I was asking. So, all right, Ms. Tony, if you'll come fill me in. All right. All right, Sailor Carlisle, I have sent you an unmute request if you'll approve that.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay. Ms. Carlisle, I wasn't able to get back with you yesterday morning because we were busy, and frankly, I ended up not getting them the list as quickly as I wanted. So I appreciate you logging back in today. You had your conference yesterday, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. They told me that you wanted me to appear this morning in court, but with our conditions and us being out of state and living in Alabama, we was able to see if we were able to do it then or virtually, and they said we were.
Yes,
Um,
you're good so far. The only question I have for you this morning, Ms. Carlisle, and then I'll ask the same question to Mr. Jackson is, do you wish, you have two options this morning, and you can tell me whichever one you want. You can, they've passed up the recommendation. If you want to accept that recommendation, I'm certainly willing to take it, but there's no pressure for you to take it. If you don't want to take it, then I will move you over to a trial calendar and we'll start again. Do you know which of those you want to do?
um,
And I'll go ahead and tell you that pause tells me a lot. So if you're unsure, the best thing to do is let me reset you and let you think about your options.
are we able to do it virtually? If so,
Yes, you can come to your calendar call virtually. You would not be able to come to your trial virtual. So if I
okay.
did reset you, I would reset you to come virtually for your calendar call, but then you must come in person for your trial.
Okay. Can I? Is it okay if I mute real quick so I can ask my father because he will know
Yes,
more about this because I've never had this happen before.
that's fine. You talk to him, and I'm going to go talk to Mr. Jackson, okay?
All right, thank you.
Susan, I'm going to definitely reset no matter what they say. So if y'all will pass me that button. So this is from yesterday's calendar. She did one yesterday? Okay, if she already did one, we're good to go. All right, Mr. Jackson, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right, and as usual, Mr. Jackson, your audio is way better than hers. All right, Mr. Jackson. Oh, hold on, Mr. Jackson. Don't say anything. Let's call the next round. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
If I call your name, if you'll go through those double doors, I'll meet you in the hallway. Oliver Vieira, Shawnee Fisher, Moreno Flores, Ryan Fugit, Maisha Greer, and Jamoki Holden. Thank you.
Sure. All right, Mr. Jackson, we're back on with you here. Mr. Jackson, you heard Miss Carlisle's conversation with me. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. And I do have one question though. I didn't get to hear it completely because my headset was messing up, and so I just faintly caught it in the background through my wife's phone. And I was listening to it about something. I think you said First Offender Act, where with it being our first time offense, not being a traffic violation as well. Uh, would we be able to waive it?
Yes, if you wanted to do that, you could. But I'm going to end up resetting her case, and y'all are co-defendants. And so I just want to say out loud that if I end up resetting her case, I'll very likely end up resetting yours as well.
Yes, sir.
Because y'all are co-defendants, am I correct on that?
Yes, sir. I just know that if I choose to do it, I know she would choose to do it as well if it meant that we would be able to just waive it off and be completely done with it.
All right. I tell you what, I'm going to put both of y'all back on mute. Y'all are in the same house, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, y'all go sit around your kitchen table and talk for several minutes, and I'll come back to both of y'all in a little while.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
these now that are ready. All right, so what I'm going to do is call you up to the podium. Ms. Williams, you may, I don't think that mic is on. Dwayne, I don't know that that mic is on there. I don't see a green light.
Yes, sir.
William Bogan,
Yes, sir. Right.
come on up to the, okay, so. I never know if it's just my angle that I can't see or whatnot.
Speaking there so he can hear you.
All right. All right, state your full name for me.
William Bogan.
All right, Mr. Bogan, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Bogan, you can take your hand down. You're here on 23 TK 4346, and you have a traffic citation that you would like to enter a NOLO plea. Is that correct?
Yes.
Am I also correct that you have the funds to pay your fine in full today?
Yes.
And that you do not need probation? You can close your case out altogether.
Yes.
Are you 21 years of age or older?
Older.
Have you used a NOLO on any moving violation in the last 5 years?
No.
And do you understand that by entering this plea and closing this case, you're also waiving the right to a jury trial?
Yes.
And is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Any questions on this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver?
No.
All right, and these have your initials on the front and back, and that's your signature?
Yes, sir.
All right, then that's all I need. As you have the funds, I don't need to go through all the rest of it. Do you have any questions that I can answer for you?
No.
All right, so what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna sign here acknowledging that you've requested a NOLO and that I did that on open court, on the record and under oath, and that the fine, your negotiated fine is $750, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, I've signed all that. Do you want him to wait in the hallway, or do you want him to wait like on the front row there?
He's waiting in the hallway.
Okay, so if you'll step out in the hallway and wait for the bailiffs, they're gonna do a little, they have to change it around a little bit in the
Yes.
system before they go down.
Right.
So if you'll head back that way, head out the double doors, have a seat on the bench out there and wait for the
All right,
bailiffs.
for sure.
They'll come out and walk you down in just a minute. They might walk, looks like he may walk a few of you down. Yeah, it looks like Jasmine Collier. You'll step up too. Good morning. All right, if you'll state your name for me.
Jasmine Collier.
All right, Ms. Collier, if you'll please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. And Ms. Collier, you're here on 24 TK 0734. Am I correct that you want to enter a NOLO plea to this speeding? Looks like reduced to 74 to 55?
Correct.
And are you 21 years of age or older?
Older.
And have you used a NOLO on any moving violation in the last 5 years?
No.
And are you asking me to accept this NOLO from February 18th of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand that you're giving up the right to a jury trial?
Yes.
And is that what you want to do?
Yes.
All right. So that is all I need. I just have to put that little bit on the record. Are there any questions I can answer for you about anything, including the information on the self-represented defendant plea rights waiver?
No.
And those are your initials on the front and back, and that's your signature?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm going to sign this here, approving your request for a NOLO. And you have the funds today, so I'll let you go down with the bailiffs. Pay it. Once you have your receipt in hand, you'll be free to go.
Okay.
All right, so if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If not, I'll have you step out in the hallway. They have me going back. Ever since that chucklehead jumped over the bench in Vegas, they've gotten really, if you haven't watched that video, you should. They won't let me bring folks forward. They make me go that way. So, okay. So that was Jasmine Collier. All right, Castillo or Castillo? Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, if you please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, take your hand down, state your full name for me.
Christopher Castillo.
All right, give me just a second. There it is. All right. Mr. Castillo, you were on time for court today according to my calendar. Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes.
Mr. Castillo, you have passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1,
Yes.
page 2?
Yes.
And is that your signature?
Yes.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Yes.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
Did you see on here where it says you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
Yes.
And you're here representing yourself?
Yes.
Is that what you want to do? Do you want to represent yourself?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
You can always ask a question.
Okay, yeah. But why are you asking that if I signed it so I can, pay the fee off or whatever it was?
Yeah, so there's 2 stages to closing a case like this, so without a trial. And the first stage is that I have to ask you a series of questions because it's my responsibility to make certain that you understand that you have certain rights that are guaranteed to you. And you can only close the case by waiving those rights and saying, I do not want to invoke those rights, such as the right to a jury trial.
Okay.
And I have to hit a bunch of the smaller rights as well underneath that. So I have to go through this this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver actually has all of the rights on there. I wrote it myself to make certain that they were all crammed in there.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing right now is just reviewing those rights to make certain that you understand them. And then the second part is you agreeing to admit guilt or whatnot, and then I sentence. So it's the rights and then the sentence.
Okay, I understand.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
That's a good question, and everybody was paying attention, so I assume they probably had the same questions. All right, do you want me to keep going?
Yes.
All right, so did you see on here, as well as hear me say, that you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
Yes.
And you're here representing yourself.
Yes.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial. This case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Castillo, you are charged with 1 count of speeding, 91 and a 55. And that's a fast speed. And that you did so here in Spalding County on February 8th of 2024. Did you do that?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to find with your admission of guilt that there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm going to find that you are knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I've reviewed the recommendation, and I will follow it as negotiated. All right. Any questions?
No.
You ready for me to sentence?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Castillo. On 24 TK 0608 from February 8th of 2024, speeding, guilty, 12 months, 750 is your fine. I'm going to delay the start of your probation by 30 days, allow you to participate in our 30 by 30 program. And then once you have successfully closed your case within 30 days, there'll be no probation. If you're unsuccessful in closing your case, then you may then, after 30 days, when 31 days hits, you may work off your fine with community service work if you need that. No illegal drugs, alcohol, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee, and the case will still close the moment you satisfied your obligations to the court. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights.
Okay.
All right, any questions for me about anything before you and I part ways?
If I have the full amount, can I pay it today?
I think they might need you. They might be able to take it today. Talk to them back there.
Okay.
I'm not sure how quickly they can accept it from the moment they meet you to when they have it ready in the system to take it. But
Okay.
ask them about it.
All right,
They'll
thank
be able to tell you. All right, head back that way out those double doors. All right, that was Castillo. All right, Justin Buck. Mr. Buck, please raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, take your hand down. State your full name for me.
Justin Buck.
Mr. Buck, you're here today on 24 TK7, and you were on time for court today. Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes.
All right, now I understand you are under 21, is that correct?
Yes.
How old are you?
19.
All right, are you here with any family members?
My mom.
All right, you can come up if you want. You don't have to. So, okay, she says no thanks. All right, well, I just want to make certain whenever I have somebody under 21, I extend that to the family. All right, Mr. Buck, you have passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Are those your initials next to each of the lines on page 1,
Yes.
page 2,
Yes.
and is that your signature at the bottom?
Yes.
All right, and Mr. Buck, you did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it,
Yes.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
Mr. Buck, you did you see on here, as well as hear me say, that you have the right to have an attorney represent you,
Yes.
and you're here representing yourself?
Yes.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial,
Yes.
and that by entering this plea, there will be no trial, and this case will be closed? Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Buck, you actually, let's go off record. We don't want to slow Miss Middleton down.
Thank you. If I call your name, if you'll step out those double doors, please. Lamont Clark, Sean Nelson, Avery Blanton, Raphael Baker, and Tyson Rashid Childress. Thank you.
Okay.
And that should be it.
Is there anyone else waiting for their conference who has not had a conference with the solicitor's office? Okay, we just learned the hard way to ask that question.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Buck, back on record with you. Did you, here in Spalding County, back on December 20th of 2023, operate your motor vehicle at a speed of 73 miles an hour in a 55 mile an hour zone?
Yeah.
Did you also fail to properly wear your seatbelt as required by Georgia law?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to find, with your admission of guilt as to counts 1 and 2, that there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation, and I'll follow it as negotiated. Any questions about anything before I sentence?
No.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Buck, on 23 TK7, count 1 speeding, 73 and a 55, I'm going to find you guilty. It's 12 months probation, $750 is your fine. Count 2, seatbelt, guilty, fine only, $15. Once you, you may work off your fine with community service work if you wish. Show your valid license to sentence enforcement. No illegal drugs, alcohol, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current sentence, and this case will close the moment you've satisfied your obligations to the court. You also need to complete a 6-hour defensive driving course within the next 60 days. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and you have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. Are there any questions I can answer for you about anything before
No.
you and I part ways?
No.
All right, then I'm going to send you out, and Mom, if you want to go sit with him out in the hallway and you promise not to make a scene, you can go with him. So, all right. I'm going to talk to my virtual people just real quick, see what they're wanting to do, and then I'll talk to you next. Mr. Jackson, are you there by any chance? Jeremy Jackson?
I'm here.
Okay. Mr. Jackson, I wanted to give you and your wife time to sit and talk off record and decide what you all wanted to do with your case. I want to make sure you hear me say very clearly that there is no pressure from me for you to do anything one way or the other. Have you had enough time to speak with your wife, who's also your co-defendant, Sailor Carlisle, and figure out what y'all want to do?
I believe we have, yes, sir.
Okay. What would you like to do with your case?
Huh?
Would you like to enter the plea, or do you want me to reset it for a trial?
We would like to enter the plea.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to mute you, and I'm going to move over to Miss Carlisle and make certain that that's what she wants to do. And if that's the case, then what I'll do is I'll put a document up on the screen that I'll have you all review while I do a plea or two more, and then I'll come back to y'all once you've had a chance to read it. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm muting Mr. Jackson and I'm unmuting Miss Carlisle. Miss Carlisle, you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Miss Carlisle, have you had a chance to decide what you want to do with your case?
Yes, sir.
And I know y'all are co-defendants, but I just want to make certain that it's very clear that you can do whatever you choose with your case.
Yes,
You're
sir.
not obligated to make whatever decision. That Jeremy Jackson's your husband, correct?
He's my fiance.
Fiance, sorry about that. You understand you're not obligated to choose the same pathway as your fiance.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What would you like to do with your case? Would you like me to reset it for a trial calendar or do you want to enter your plea?
Enter my plea.
Okay, so I'm about to put a document up that's called the Self-Represented Defendant Plea Rights Waiver, and then I'm going to do a few other pleas while you look at that document. When I come back to you to do your plea, what I'm going to ask you is if you were standing in the courtroom, would you be able to have initialed each of the lines saying you understand it fully? Do you understand that's the question I'll ask you in a little bit?
Yes, sir.
All right, so give me just a second. I'm going to put the document up on the screen, and then I'm going to mute you, okay? Bless you. Bless you. Okay. Ms. Carlisle, can you see the self-represented defendant plea rights waiver on your screen?
Yes, ma'am. I'm having a Zoom in, but yes, sir.
Okay, that's all right. All right, so sit tight. Let me check with Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson, can you see the document on your screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, I'm going to mute both of you. I'm going to do a few other pleas while y'all read that document, and then I'll come back to you. All right, they're both muted. All right, so next plea for y'all here in the courtroom would be Ferreira.
Yes, sir.
All right, come on up, Mr. Ferreira. All right, Mr. Ferreira, if you'll please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, you may take your hand down if you'll state your full name for me.
My name is Oliver Ferreira Jr.
All right, and Mr. Ferreira, you're here on 24 TK 0609, and it's my understanding you want to enter a NOLO plea on your failure to yield while turning left with an accident. Is that correct? Do you want to enter a NOLO
Yes.
plea? And you have the fine amount to close your case today, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So then I just need to ask you a couple of questions. So first of all, have you used a NOLO on a moving violation anywhere in the last 5 years?
No.
All right. And you're 21 years of age or older?
Yes.
All right. And are you wanting to use your NOLO for driving that occurred on February 6th, 2024 here in Spalding County and resulted in this charge?
Yes.
Okay. And then lastly, I'm holding up this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document? Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes.
Page 2?
Yes.
Is that your signature?
Yes.
Did you understand everything on this document?
Yes.
Okay, then we are good to go. So, Mr. Ferreira, what I'm going to do is have you turn around, head back out there, walk out into the hallway, have a seat on the bench out there, and don't go anywhere until the bailiffs come see you.
Okay.
Susan, I don't know this total off the top of my head. I think it's a $200 fine, but it looks like 306. I wish the legislature would stop changing our fines. I now have 4 columns of fines. Okay, that's rare. All right, Duncan, Philip Duncan. Okay, Mr. Duncan, if you'll raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, take your hand down and state your full name for me.
Philip Duncan?
Mr. Duncan, am I correct that you wish to enter a no-low plea on your failure to obey a traffic control device with an accident?
Yes.
And that you have the funds to pay your fine in full today?
Yes.
All right. Then I don't need to go through the full rights with you. I just need to go through a couple of rights. So first of all, have you used a NOLO on a moving violation anywhere in the last 5 years?
No, sir.
And are you asking me to accept a NOLO for driving that occurred here in Spalding County on March 7th of 2024 and resulted in that, the charge I just read out? Is that what you want me to accept your NOLO on?
Yes.
I'm holding up the self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Are those your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes.
Page 2?
Yes.
Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
And do you recognize it as the written version of those rights I read out earlier?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm going to find that your request for a NOLO is proper. I'm going to find that you have the funds to pay it. Therefore, I do not need to place you on probation. We all have that moment in our life where we just want to do that. All right. So, and I'm going to accept the recommendation. What I'm going to do at this point is, do you have any questions that I can answer for you?
No, sir.
All right. So if you'll step back that way, out the hallway, have a seat on the benches outside, wait for the bailiffs. They're going to take probably all of y'all down here in just a little bit.
Yes, sir.
So, all right. Thank you. Shedrick Moses. All right. So, Mr. Moses, I'm looking for a right sheet. Have you filled out a
Yes,
right? Oh, perfect. Have you had a chance to fill it out yet?
I have.
It does look like it's filled out to me too. So perfect. Excellent. Okay. So raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
So this will be the last one. That way. So, all right, Mr. Moses, am I correct that you wish to enter a no-low plea as to the suspended registration
Yes,
and that the other charges in your case will be dismissed?
yes,
And you have the fine amount to pay your fine in full today, is that correct?
yes,
Okay, that works for me. All right, so, great, this works perfectly. Mr. Moses, are you 21 years of age or older?
yes,
And, I'm so sorry, yeah, Mr. Moses. And have you used a NOLO on a moving violation in the, on a suspended registration in the last 5 years?
no,
And are you asking me to accept it for driving that occurred here in Spalding County
Yes.
on October 24th, 2023, and resulted in this charge of suspended operating motor vehicle on a suspended registration?
yes,
Okay. I'm going to find that your request is proper, and I'm going to grant it. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering the plea. As you have the funds, I do not need to place you on probation. I will instead allow you to go downstairs with the bailiffs, pay your fine in full, which will be $590. Once you have your receipt in hand, you will be free to go. All right, any questions for me?
no,
All right, if you'll step out and back that way and out the hallway, and wait in the hallway for the bailiffs, please. All right, last NOLO to pay is Knuckles. And then we can walk on in. I just have one. All right, please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, please take your hand down and state your full name for me.
Dontasia Knuckles.
All right, Ms. Knuckles, you're here today on 23 TK 5743. There it is, page 4. And you want to enter a NOLO plea, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you have the funds in full to pay your case?
Yes, sir.
And you'd like to close it that way, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so, Ms. Knuckles, on, are you 21 years of age or older?
Yes, sir.
And have you used a NOLO on a no insurance charge anywhere in the last 5 years?
No, sir.
And are you wanting to use your NOLO for driving that occurred here in Spalding County on November 28th of 2023 and resulted in this no insurance charge?
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials? Do you recognize the self-represented defendant plea rights waiver that I'm holding up?
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials here on the front and the back?
Yes, sir.
And that's your signature?
Yes, sir.
And you signed and initialed it to show me that you understood it fully?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to find that your request for a NOLO is proper. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights to enter in this plea. I've reviewed the recommendation and I'll follow it. I'm going to grant the NOLO. Your fine as negotiated is $590. You have those funds today, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you would like me to allow you to pay it in lieu of probation, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any questions that I can answer for you?
No, sir.
All right, then I'm going to allow you to go downstairs and pay it. If you will head back that way, out in the hallway, wait for the bailiffs out in the hallway. Don't leave until they come walk you down.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next one is Moreno Flores.
Good morning.
Good morning. If you will please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right. If you'll take your hand down and state your full name for me.
Isaac Moreno.
And
Flores.
and Flores?
Yes, sir.
All right. And Mr. Moreno Flores, is English your second language?
Yes.
And do you understand that if you wanted me to, I could move this case over to our interpreter calendar? Is Spanish your primary
I
language?
understand.
Oh, I know. It's my job to say this out loud.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
sir.
we're good. It's just my job to say things like this.
I appreciate
So, do you understand that if you asked me to, I would move you to our interpreter calendar and I would provide you with a Spanish-speaking interpreter and a Spanish-speaking attorney to represent you at no cost to you? Do you understand that you have that option?
Okay. No, thank you.
No, thank you, but you understand that
Yeah,
is
I
an
understand
option.
that. Yes.
And again, it's just my obligation. It's my job to make certain you understand that.
Yeah, I understand.
And whatever you decide after that is okay. All right. So, Mr. Moreno Flores, do you want to go forward today with this plea under these terms?
Yes.
Perfect. Mr. Moreno Flores, you're here on 24 TK 0035, and you were on time for court today. Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes.
Any questions I can answer for you about those rights?
No.
All right. I'm holding up this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1,
Yes.
page 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
And is that your signature?
Yes.
And did you sign and initial this document after having all the time you needed to read it? And because you understood it?
Yes.
All right. And Mr. Moreno Flores, are you able to read and write in the English language?
Yes.
And do you understand that if you asked me for a Spanish version of this form, I would give you one?
No, thank you.
Again,
Yes.
just my job to say it out loud. So, okay, and you're good with it as it is.
Yes.
All right, so let's keep moving forward then. Do you understand that you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
Yes.
And you're here representing yourself?
Yes.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and this case is going to be closed? Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Moreno Flores, you are charged with one count of no driver's license. Yeah, this will work. You're 21 years of age or older?
Yes.
Have you used a NOLO on a no driver's license or on anything in the last 5 years?
No.
All right. And are you asking me to accept your NOLO on the no driver's license charge from December 28th of 2023?
Yes.
Do you also want to enter another NOLO on a moving violation, which is the failure to stop at a stop sign, which also occurred on December 28th of 2023?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to find that with both of your NOLO requests, that they are proper, and I will grant your request for a NOLO. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights in entering this plea. I've reviewed the recommendation, and I will follow it. Do you have any questions for me about anything before I sentence?
No.
All right. Mr. Moreno Flores, the sentence of the court then is as follows. As to count one, no valid license, NOLO is granted, 12 months probation, 590 is your fine. Count two, failure to stop at a stop sign, the NOLO is granted, 12 months probation, concurrent, meaning 12 months of total probation. 158 is your fine. You may work off your fine with community service work if you wish. I'm going to waive the valid license reinstatement obligation because I understand you're not able to get a license. Is that correct?
Yes.
In your current situation? No illegal drugs, alcohol, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current sentence. And this will terminate once the moment you have satisfied your obligations to the court. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and you have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. Do you have any questions for me at all?
I told the lady if she told me I can pay the whole money today.
Yes,
And-
and then you'll have to report one more time, and then your case will be closed.
1 day on probation, 1 day.
Yes, that's correct. So, if you need anything clarified in Spanish, Miss Rosario back there, our probation officer, is a wonderful Spanish speaker. So we're
Okay.
very proud of the steps we've taken to take care of our Spanish-speaking defendants. So,
Thank you.
all right, thank you very much. All right, Fisher. Do we have a Ms. Moreno or Flores? I didn't. Oh, we have a Ms. Oh, wow, we did get it all. So let's go from it. So on page 3, we have a Ms. Moreno Flores, but Moreno was his last name, and then Flores was his hyphenated last name. His first name was.
When he said, it sounded odd, and I was confused.
Okay. We might need to get his. We just need his first name. First name. Yeah, I didn't realize it was messed up on the calendar.
Is that the way it is in?
Yeah.
But it's still because
Well,
in there it jacks it up.
I've complained to Tyler. We're off record. So I've complained to Tyler. I just think our database is sufficient enough to handle it. What's his first name? Isaac. Okay.
Isaac, I just
Isaac.
knew I heard the I, that's all I got.
Yep.
So it's ISAAC.
The traditional biblical spelling, I-S-A-A-C, and then last name is Moreno Flores. Again, that's, I hold Tyler responsible for this, and I will tell them again. All right, everybody good with that? We'll get that correct in the system, please. Thank you for your patience. As you can see, I spin a lot of plates up here. And I'm also the database administrator, whether I want to be or not. So it's my job to make sure the names are correct. All right, so you are Johnny Fisher.
Yes, sir.
Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, take your hand down. State your full name for me.
Shawnee Fisher.
All right, Johnny Fisher, you're here on 24 TK 0024. And according to my calendar, you are on time for court today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom and see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
And did you understand those rights?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher, you, there we are. You have passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1,
Yes.
page 2?
Yes.
And is that your signature?
Yes, it is.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Yes, sir.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
All right. Did you see on here, as well as hear me say, that you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
Yes.
And you're here representing yourself?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and this case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you have any questions that I can answer for you about anything on this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver or anything else before I pivot to the facts of your case?
No, sir.
All right. So, and if you think of any, do you promise to ask me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fisher, you are here on, as to count 1, speeding 77 in a 55, and that you did so here in Spalding County on December 29th of 2023. Did you operate your motor vehicle at that speed on that day?
Yes, sir.
And then count 2, suspended license. So I just realized this suspended license charge with a guilty plea will cause a suspension of your driver's license. Have you used a NOLO on a suspended license charge in the last 5 years?
I'm not sure if it's been 5 years. I tried to bring up the DDS website,
Sure.
but I had already had an account and I couldn't figure out the password, and I was waiting for them to send me the email, but they never sent it. So I'm not actually sure if I have.
Been there, done that. So the short answer is if you're not sure, I'm going to go with you and grant it.
Okay.
Because the risk is yours to take. Because
Okay.
if we're mistaken and it was within 5 years, DDS will know it.
So what would happen?
And so they would enter it as a guilty plea. Even though it says NOLO here, DDS would accept it as a
Okay.
guilty plea.
And it, like, my license will still get suspended after. Okay.
But at the same time, though, if you're right, then it will go in as a NOLO and your license will be protected.
Okay.
So that, again, if that's acceptable to you, that's what I'm willing to do. Because again, the risk is all on your end.
Okay. And,
Or you can delay this and try to pull a record and figure it out and do this on a different day.
how long would it take me to figure out what day change it to?
I tell you what, why don't you just step out in the hallway, hop on your phone. I've got several other police to do. And why don't you see if you can figure that out?
Okay.
Because that'll let you know what you need to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take your paperwork, I'm going to clip it back together, and I'm just going to put you on the very bottom of the pile.
Okay.
And we'll recall it here in just a little bit.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Step
you.
out in the hallway. All right, let's do the virtual, please. Kathy, procedurally. All right, let's go on record then. Mr. Jackson and Ms. Carlisle, I'm sending you both an unmute request.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Jackson, you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I just need to tell you all something before we get started. On my end, you need to know that Mr. Jackson, comes through kind of like the voice of Oz. And then Miss Carlisle is barely audible. So Mr. Jackson, I just need you to roll back your volume just a hair. And Miss Carlisle, I need you to roll up your volume a hair. Because I'm going to do y'all's plea together, but your audios are not at the same level. Mr. Jackson, I'm going to have you answer first at all times. Do you understand that, Mr. Jackson?
Yes, sir. Is this better?
Yes. Miss Carlisle, can you hear? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Y'all stay at that volume and we should be just okay.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Mr. Jackson, I'm going to swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right, Miss Carlisle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You all were both here yesterday morning, and then you were here again this morning. Did you hear the rights that are read out to the courtroom and see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall both times, Mr. Jackson?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Carlisle?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you understand those rights, Mr. Jackson?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Carlisle?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jackson and Ms. Carlisle, is it acceptable to you that we're doing this plea over this video conference system? Mr. Jackson?
Yes, sir.
And then Ms. Carlisle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And on your screen, and it's been up there for several minutes now, a good several minutes. I lost track of time, but there's a self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Mr. Jackson, have you had all the time you need to read that document from the start to the finish?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Carlisle?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jackson, if you were sitting here in the courtroom and you had a paper copy of that in front of you, would you be able to confidently initial each and every one of the lines that you see next to on page 1?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Carlisle?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then if you were to go over to page 2, would you be able to initial each of those lines, Mr. Jackson?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Carlisle?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I need to ask Mr. Jackson, are you a United States citizen?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Carlisle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Jackson, did you see on the document, as well as hear me say, that you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Carlisle?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Jackson, do you understand that you are giving up that right to an attorney by entering the plea in this way?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Carlisle?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Jackson, do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial on your case?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Carlisle?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that by entering this plea, there will be no jury trial, and this case will be closed? Do you understand that, Mr. Jackson?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Carlisle?
Yes, sir.
All right. And Mr. Jackson, your middle name is Neal, Neal. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, got it. All right. Now, Mr. Jackson, do you have any questions for me about the self-represented defendant plea rights waiver, which is still up on your screen, or anything else before I pivot to the facts of your case?
I don't have anything about the page that's on our screen. I do have a quick question. As far as our case goes, with us pleading, we don't have to go through any sort of jail, correct?
That is correct. There's no jail time recommended, and I currently do not anticipate adding it to your plea.
Okay.
And that applies to both of you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So that's a good question. Do you understand that, Ms. Carlisle?
Yes, sir.
All right. That was a good question. Mr. Jackson, any other questions before I pivot to the facts?
That'll be the only question.
Okay. Ms. Carlisle, do you have any questions before I pivot to the facts of your case?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. So let's pivot to the facts of your case. So both of you are co-defendants. You're also fiancés engaged to be married. And so you have very similar charges. So Mr. Jackson, I'm going to start with you. You're charged with battery, and that you did here in Spalding County on 22 SR 2218 back on October 8th of 2022, that you did commit the offense of battery, and that you did that you did create visible bodily injury to the person of Billy Elrod, which placed him in immediate apprehension of receiving. Sorry, that one caused visible battery. Yours was simple, So Mr. Jackson, did you do that?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Carlisle, yours is a similar charge, which is that you did make an offensive gesture to Billy Elrod, and that offensive gesture placed Billy Elrod in a reasonable position of believing that he was going to receive an immediate violent injury. Did you do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to find with each of your admissions of guilt that there's enough for me to take your plea, and I'm putting your charges up on the screen as we're going. Can you see them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's the one up there now is Miss Carlisle's, and then Mr. Jackson. Yours is
Yes, sir.
there. Okay. All right. So Both of your charges are up there. I've read both of them. I'm going to find with your admission of guilt across both of your cases and both of your charges that there's enough for me to find for each of you that there's enough to accept this plea. I'm going to find that each of you are knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering these pleas. I've reviewed the recommendations, and I will follow these recommendations as they have been negotiated. Mr. Jackson, do you have any questions that I can answer for you before I sentence?
I don't have any questions other than I was going to ask, but I'm not sure if I'm able to at this point in time. Uh, the situation on hand that we are currently talking about, am I able to mention, because they never even got my statement as to what happened, and but what did physically happen was in self-defense on my part, but I don't know what route or what way of going as to getting that situated. But since I'm not sure if I can do anything about that, but I was currently wondering if there's any way I'd be able to press any sort of charges on the said Billy Elrod for what he did in order for me to do the battery that I did.
All right. So the short answer is you're not wrong with what you're saying, but you're way off direction as to where we're at now. So
Yes.
where we're at now is I just finished a guilty plea with you all, and I was about to sentence you, where you admitted to being the primary aggressor and unlawfully creating visible bodily injury to Billy Elrod. And so if you're telling me that you did this in self-defense, well, that's the very opposite of what we just did. That would be where you go to trial and we let a jury decide it. So you have a decision you need to make, Mr. Jackson, which is that are you wanting to enter this plea or are you wanting me to place you on a trial calendar?
I would like to enter the plea, but I would also like to know what route I need to go in order to press charges on him.
Sure. You can reach out to the Spalding County Magistrate Court and apply for a warrant. It's called a warrant application. I'm also changing both of your pleas to best interest pleas, where you're both entering it without actually admitting to the underlying facts of the case. Ms. Sailors, do you want to move forward with your plea anyway, or do you want me to move your case over to the trial calendar?
Just go ahead and do the plea.
Okay. All right, Mr. Jackson, if you wish to press charges on Mr. Elrod, you'll need to fill out an application with the Spalding County Magistrate Court. There's a fee for that, but they will walk you through those steps, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. All right. So then the sentence of the court is as follows, because as you've maintained your innocence, I've converted it to a best interest plea, and both of you have asked me to go forward with the pleas and sentence you according to what you've negotiated. Is that correct, Mr. Jackson?
Yes, sir.
All right. The sentence on the court, Mr. Jackson, is count one, battery. It's a best interest plea. Guilty, 12 months, 870 is your fine. It's 22 SR 2218 is the case number. You may work off your fine with community service work. No jail time. Show your valid license to sentence enforcement. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. $50 per month supervision fee. $25 intake fee. Fourth Amendment waiver. This is consecutive to any current state court sentence. And you may go immediately to e-report. And I will be attaching the personal information you sent me to the probation information sheet because you live in Alabama.
Yes,
Any
sir.
questions on your sentence, Mr. Jackson?
No, sir.
Ms. Saylor, Ms. Carlisle, you ready for me to sentence you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Carlisle asked a simple assault on 22 SR 2208. I'm going to accept your best interest plea. It's 12 months probation. 870 is your fine. You may work off your fine with community service work. Show your license to sentence enforcement. Fourth Amendment waiver. $50 a month supervision fee. $25 intake fee.
Yes, sir.
This is consecutive to any Spalding County State Court sentence. And you are also immediately on e-report because you live in the state of Alabama. I'm going to order both of you to call sentence enforcement. You're going to call this Friday, so by phone. So this Friday would be the 19th between 9 and noon. So do you understand, Mr. Jackson, that you're going to call the 19th between 9 and noon?
Yes, sir.
Their phone number is 770-467-4206.
Okay. Can you repeat that one more time?
I can. It's 770-467-4206. You may also get that number by going to spaldingcounty.com and going to the sentence enforcement page, and all of their information you need is there. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You understand, Mr. Jackson, if you fail to make this phone call on Friday between 9 and noon, I will issue a warrant for your arrest.
Yes, sir.
And if you don't get anyone on the phone, leave a detailed message. They'll call you back.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Carlisle, do you understand your reporting obligations are the same as Mr. Jackson's?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand I'll take the same action against you if you fail to individually call yourself? You each have an obligation to call yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. That's it. Anything else, Mr. Jackson, before you and I part ways?
No, sir. Thank you so much.
Anything else, Ms. Carlisle, before you and I part ways?
For the information to be able to call, or not call, but all the information, will it be emailed to our addresses?
Yes. The purpose of Friday's phone call is for y'all to establish that line of communication.
Okay.
So yes, you will be getting copies of all of this, and you will be sending copies of things back. Y'all are going to swap a lot of emails.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Y'all may both remove yourselves from the system and call that office this Friday between 9 and noon.
All right.
Yes, sir.
you.
Thank you.
I'm going to hold on to these because I have not done their. They sent me their information for their probation information sheet. So I'm going to hold this because I haven't filled it out yet. So, all right. Back to the people who are here. Let's go to Greer. All right. Is it Maisha Greer?
Yes.
All right. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right. Please state your full name for me.
Maisha Greer.
Ms. Greer, you're here on 24 TK 0853. You were on time for court today. Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom and see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes.
Any questions I can answer for you about those rights?
No.
You have passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver.
Yes.
Do you recognize this document that I'm holding up?
Yes.
Are those your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes.
Page 2?
Yes.
Is that your signature?
Yes, it is.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Yes.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
Did you see on here where it says you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
Yes.
And that by entering this plea, you're doing so without an attorney. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
All right. Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial. This case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions before I pivot to the facts of your case?
No.
All right. Are you 21 years of age or older?
Yes.
Have you used a NOLO on any moving violation in the last 5 years?
No, I have not.
And are you asking me to accept a NOLO for driving that occurred here in Spalding County and ended up with this charge of speeding, 94 to 65, from February 23rd of 2024?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to find that your request for a NOLO is proper, and I'm going to grant it. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I've reviewed the recommendation, and I'll follow it. Any questions about anything before I sentence?
No.
You ready?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Greer, on 24 TK 0853 from February 23rd of 24, count 1, speeding, 94 to 65. I'm going to grant your NOLO. It's 12 months probation. $750 is your fine. You may work off your fine with community service work. Show your valid license to sentence enforcement. No alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current state court sentence. I did this out of order. I'm so sorry. I'm going to delay the start of your probation by 30 days to allow you a chance to participate in our 30 by 30 program. So if you pay your fine in full plus $30 in the next 30 days, your case will close with no probation. If you make it to 31 days, those things I have just listed out will then apply at that point, but not until that point. At that point, if that happens, your case will still close the moment you've satisfied your obligations to the court.
Okay.
All right, so did it out of order, but did you understand what your obligations are?
Yes, I understand.
All right, any questions? You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 6 months from today if you want to use your habeas rights. Any questions I can answer for you about anything before we part ways?
No, that's it.
All right, thank you very much. If you'll head out with Mr. Richards. All right, Fisher, I think you came back. All right, what'd you find out?
They got me on the website. As far as I can see, I haven't used the NOLO.
Perfect. Well, then let's go forward then. Okay. All right, so I'm going to remind you that you're still under oath. I think we'd already gone through all the rights. Isn't that correct?
Yes, sir.
And we'd made it to the NOLO request. Is that where
Yes,
we're
sir.
at? All right, so then I'll ask you, have you used a NOLO are you asking me to accept your NOLO for the speeding 77 and a 55 from, no, that's a guilty. Did you here in Spalding County operate your motor vehicle at 77 and a 55 back on December 29th of 2023?
Yes, sir.
And then as to the suspended license, do you want me to accept a NOLO for that same charge from that same course of events?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to find that with your admission of guilt as to count one, the speeding, that there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm going to find that your request for a NOLO on the suspended license charge is also proper, and I'm going to grant it. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I've reviewed the recommendation, and I'll follow it as you have negotiated it. Any questions before I sentence?
No, sir.
All right, here we go. Shawnee Fisher on 24 TK 0024 from December 29th of 23, count one, speeding 77 and 55, guilty, 12 months, 195 is your fine. Count two, suspended license, NOLO, 12 months, concurrent, meaning at the same time, 750 is your fine. You may work off your fine with community service work, show a valid license to sentence enforcement. No illegal drugs, alcohol, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current sentence, and this case will close the moment you've satisfied your obligations to the court. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and you have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. Can I answer any questions for you before you and I part ways?
No, sir.
All right, then I'm going to pass you off to Mr. Taylor. He's going to walk you out those double doors.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, next case, McFarland. Okay, please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, take your hand down, state your full name for me.
Someone McFarland.
All right, and you're here on 24 TK 0813. You were on time for court today. Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom and see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir. I'm used to it.
And did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Now, you have passed up to me the self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document that I'm holding up?
Yes, sir.
And do you recognize that it's the written version of those rights I read out earlier?
Yes, sir.
Are those your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes, sir.
Page 2?
Yes, sir.
And is that your signature?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
And did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Yes, sir.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. McFarland, you have the right to have an attorney represent you, and you're here representing yourself. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
And you have the right to have a jury trial on your case. And by entering this plea, there will be no trial, and this case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are charged with one count of expired tag. Actually, 2 counts of expired tag. Count 1 is that you did so here in Spalding County on February 15th of 2024. Did you do that?
Yes, sir.
And did you have the second charge of expired tag during the same course of events?
Uh,
Well, it looks like to me like they cut you a bit of a break. Maybe the other one was Something different.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. So do you want to enter a guilty plea to 2 counts of expired tag?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Given where you started, that's probably a good idea.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
okay. So because these are not reported to the Department of Driver Services, these will remain here on our records, but not go in.
Okay, thank
Okay. All right. Then I'm going to find that your request to enter guilty pleas to 2 counts of expired tags instead of the original charge is proper. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering the plea. I reviewed the recommendation and I'll follow it.
Yes, sir.
I agree that it's a little bit odd structured, but it's still, it's better than it was.
Yes, sir.
So, okay. You ready for me to sentence?
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, here we go. Taiwan McFarland, 24 TK 0813, count 1 expired tag, guilty, 12 months, 158 is your fine. Count 2 expired tag, guilty, 12 months, 158 is your fine. I'm going to delay the start of your probation by 30 days to allow you a chance to pay your fine plus $30 in full to close your case with no probation.
Yes, sir.
31 days from now, if your case is still open, you'll convert to probation, at which point you may work off your fine with community service work if you wish. You will also need to show your valid license to sentence enforcement, have no illegal drugs, alcohol, or hemp products, be tested for those, Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee. This will be consecutive to any current sentence, and it'll still terminate the moment you've satisfied your obligations to the court.
Yes, sir.
You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. All right, do you have any questions for me about anything before you and I part ways?
No, sir.
All right, thank you very much. If you will step out those double doors. All right, Horn. All right, if you'll please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, take your hand down and state your full name for me.
Charlene Horn.
All right, Ms. Horn, you're here on 24 TK 0838, and you were on time for court today. Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom and see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Horn, you have passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And do you recognize it as the written version of those rights I read out earlier?
Yes, sir.
Are those your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes.
Page 2?
Yes.
And is that your signature?
Yes.
Oh, I gotta stand up. Okay. Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Yes, sir.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
Did you see on here, as well as hear me say, that you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
Yes, sir.
And you're here representing yourself?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
You understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and this case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Now, you are charged with 1 count of speeding, 74 and a 60. Did you do that here in Spalding County on February 17th of 2024?
Yes.
All right, then I'm going to find with your admission of guilt as to the speeding 14 over that there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I've reviewed the recommendation and I will follow it. Any questions that I can answer for you before I sentence?
No, sir.
You ready?
Yes.
All right. Charlene Horn on 24 TK 0838, count 1, speeding, 74 and a 60. Guilty, 12 months, 158 is your fine. I'm going to delay the start of your probation by 30 days to allow you to participate in our 30 by 30 program. So if you pay $158 plus $30, and within the next 30 days, your case will close with no probation conditions. After that, 31 days, if your case is still open, probation begins automatically, at which point you may work off your fine with community service work if you wish. You will be required to show a valid license to sentence enforcement. You'll have no illegal drugs, alcohol, or hemp products and be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee, and your case will still close the moment you've satisfied your obligations to the court. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. All right, any questions before we part ways?
No, sir.
All right, then I'm going to pass you off to Mr. Taylor. He's going to walk you out to sentence enforcement, and they're going to meet with you.
Thank
very
you.
much. Souter? All right, if you'll please raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about the this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
All right, take your hand down, state your full name for me.
Fanny Souter.
All right, and Ms. Souter, you're here on 23 TK 3845, and according to my calendar, you were on time for court. Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom, and did you see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes.
Ms. Souter, you have passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver that I'm holding up. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Do you recognize it as the written version of those rights I read out earlier?
Yes.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
Yes.
Page 2?
Yes.
And is that your signature?
Yes.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it?
Yes.
And because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Souter, you have the right to have an attorney represent you. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And you're here representing yourself. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial. This case will be closed. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
All right. You are charged with 1 count of passing in a no passing zone with an accident. Are you 21 years of age or older?
Yes.
And are you asking me to accept a NOLO on that charge?
Yes.
Have you used a NOLO on any moving violation in the last 5 years?
No.
And is that what you want me to do?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to find that your request for a NOLO is proper, and I'm going to grant it. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation, and I'll follow it. Any questions or anything before I sentence?
No, sir.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Souter, on 23 TK 3845, passing in a no passing zone with an accident, I'm going to grant you NOLO. It's 12 months probation. 306 is your fine. You may work off, I'm going to delay the start of your probation by 30 days to allow you a chance to participate in our 30 by 30 program, at which point you may close your case by paying your fine in full plus $30 and closing it with no probation. 31 days out, if your case is still open, it'll convert automatically, at which point you may work off your fine with community service work if you wish, but you will be required to show a valid license to sentence enforcement, have no illegal drugs, alcohol, or hemp products, and be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, and $25 intake fee. This is consecutive to any current sentence, and your case will still close the moment you satisfied your obligations to the court. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. All right, any questions?
No, sir.
All right, then I'm going to pass you off to Mr. Richards. He's going to walk you back to the sentence enforcement team. Thank you. Okay, next case is Clarence Williams. All right, if you'll please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, state your full name for me.
Clarence Williams.
Mr. Williams, you are, give me just 1 second. Robert, can I ask a favor of you? Will you? And Hannah's back, she's back there. I still get used to her being there too, so. All right, Mr. Williams, I'm sorry about that. I'm spinning a lot of plates this morning. Mr. Williams, you're here on 24 TK 400 and you were on time for court today. Did you hear the rights I read out to the courtroom and see the PowerPoint that I put up on the wall?
Yes.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
You have passed up to me this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And do you recognize it as the written version of those rights I read out earlier?
Yes, sir.
Are those your initials next to each of the lines on page 1,
Yes, sir.
page 2?
Yes, sir.
And is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it
Yes, sir.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes, sir.
Do you see on here where it says you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
Yes, sir.
And you're here representing yourself?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes, sir.
And that by entering this plea, there will be no trial and these cases will be closed? Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Williams, you are charged with 1 count of operating a motor vehicle in a manner that was too fast for the conditions of the road. Did you do that?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to find with your admission of guilt as to the reduced charge of too fast for conditions that there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation and I'll follow it. Any questions about anything before I sentence?
No, sir.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Williams, on count 1, the reduced charge of too fast for conditions, on 24 TK 400, I'm going to find you guilty. It's 12 months probation, 155 is your fine. I'm going to delay the start of your probation by 30 days so that if you, so that you can participate in our 30 by 30 program. If you pay your fine in full plus $30, your case will close with no probation conditions. 31 days out, if your case is still open, you may then work off your fine with community service work, but you will be required to show a valid license to sentence enforcement, have no illegal drugs, alcohol, or hemp products should be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee. This will be consecutive to any current sentence. And did y'all intend for this to be non-reporting or terminate? It's marked non-report. Y'all just usually do terminate, that's all.
Yeah, I must have just put the,
That's okay. I can fix it. I got it.
yeah.
That's
Was
good.
it 30 for 30?
It is.
Yeah, it was
So-
pay and go.
Yeah, I just figured that's what that was. So y'all are very, very consistent, which by the way, I'm very grateful for. So, okay, then your case will close even if you make it that far. Mr. Williams, do you have any questions for me before you and I part ways?
No, sir.
All right, then I'm going to sign this sentence and I'm going to pass you off to Mr. Richards to walk you back to the sentence enforcement team.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, Rashid Childress. Did that work? Okay, that's fine. I can do it. When we're done. Whoever's got good handwriting. Anyone with good handwriting can do it, but no one wants me to do it. So, so if somebody has good grade school handwriting, they can do it, but no one wants me to do that. All right, Rashid, you are Tyson. Is it Rashid Childress?
Yes, it's hyphenated.
Hyphenated, great. Please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, take your hand down. State your full name for me.
Tyson Sadiq Rashid Childress.
All right, and Mr. Rashid Childress, you were here on time for, no. You went to the wrong courtroom, is that
I went to
correct?
2 different courtrooms.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
You're not in trouble with me. When you're on, we have a policy, we don't owe that to you, but we have a policy here, which is if you're on time to the wrong courtroom, we extend a lot of grace for that.
Okay.
So, so let's just jump forward to this document here. You've had a conference on your case now, and you're wanting to resolve it with this plea. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm holding up this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document I'm holding up?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1,
Yes, Your Honor.
page 2,
Yes, Your Honor.
and is that your signature?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time that you needed to review it
Yes, Your Honor.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
Mr. Rashid Childress, are there any questions, no matter how minor or small, that I can answer for you about anything on this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver?
No, Your Honor.
Did you see on here where it says that you have the right to have an attorney represent you?
I did.
And you are here representing yourself. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that by entering this plea, you're giving up the right to a jury trial, including all those rights within the jury trial that I'm pointing at in the middle of page 1.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Rashid Childress, Do you have any questions for me about any of your rights or anything else before I pivot to the facts of your case?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Rashid Childress, did you here in Spalding County operate your motor vehicle on February 8th of 2024 here in Spalding County at a speed of 79 and a 65? Did you do that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I didn't say that well, but I think we got it across.
Yes.
So, all right, Mr. Rashid Childress, I'm going to find with your admission of guilt that there's enough for me to take your plea. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation and I'll follow it. Any questions before I sentence?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Rashid Childress, on 24 TK 0654, count one, speeding, 79 and 55, I'm going to find you guilty. It's 12 months probation, 195 is your fine. I'm going to delay the start of your probation by 30 days to allow you to participate in our 30 by 30 program. So if you pay your $30 for the fee, plus your fine in full within the next 30 days, your case will close with no probation conditions. If you're unsuccessful and 31 days gets here and your case is still open, your probation will begin automatically, at which point you can, if you wish, work off your fine with community service work. You will, though, be required at that point to show a valid license to sentence enforcement, to have no alcohol, illegal drugs, or hemp products, and be tested for those. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee, and your case will still close the moment you've satisfied your obligations to the court. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision, and 6 months on your habeas rights. A habeas is that weird old law that's on the paragraph on the back that I'm pointing at right here. What I need you to remember on habeas is just that you have 6 months to use those rights before they expire.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can I answer any questions for you, no matter how minor, before you and I part ways?
Not at this time.
Okay. Mr. Taylor's going to walk you out those double doors back there and have you go meet with sentence enforcement. All right. Baker, Raphael Baker, and that's the last item in my basket. So if anybody else, y'all are community service work, right?
Yes.
Community service work? Perfect. You go ahead and sign them out for noon. Y'all go ahead and sign out because I'm going to get the team out of here in a hurry when we finish so we can have lunch. All right. You're Raphael Baker?
That's correct.
All right. Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right. Take your hand down. Mr. Baker, you are on time. I think you're on time for court. Oh, no, you were stuck in traffic.
No, I was over at the other court. Thought I had to be over there.
Okay, I think we sent a few folks over to that court as well, so it all happens on Tuesdays. All right, so Mr. Baker, I'm going to say that you're here now. It looks like you've had a conference and you want to resolve your case. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, so I'm holding up this self-represented defendant plea rights waiver. Do you recognize this document?
Yes,
Are these your initials next to each of the lines on page 1?
they are.
Page 2?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature?
It is.
Did you sign and initial this document after having all the time you needed to review it
I did.
and because you understood everything that's on it?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. So, Mr. Baker, you have the right to have an attorney represent you. You're here representing yourself. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
And you want to give up your right to a jury trial?
Yes.
Did you, no, it's a no-low, 21 years of age or older?
Yes.
And have you used a no-low on any moving violation in the last 5 years?
No.
Are you wanting to use your no-low on this improper turn from March 10th of 2023?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to find that your request for a no-low is proper, and I'm going to grant it. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your rights and entering this plea. I reviewed the recommendation, and I'll follow it. Any questions before I sentence?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Baker, on 23 TK 2848 from March 10th of 2023, count one improper turn. I'm granting your no-low. It's 12 months probation, 155 is your fine. I'm going to delay the start of your probation by 30 days to allow you to participate in our 30 by 30 program. So if you pay your fine in full plus $30, your case will close with no probation. 31 days from now, if your case is still open, your probation will begin automatically, at which point You will then be able to work off your fine with community service work if you wish. You will be required to show a valid license to sentence enforcement, be tested for illegal drugs, alcohol, and hemp products, and have none of those in your system. Fourth Amendment waiver, $50 per month supervision fee, $25 intake fee, and this shall be consecutive to any current state court sentence. And your case would still close even if you got that far the moment you've satisfied your obligations to the court. You have 30 days from today if you wish to appeal this decision. You have 6 months from today if you wish to use your habeas rights. Do you have any questions for me about anything before you and I part ways?
I actually do have a question.
Sure.
It might have nothing to do with my case. What is that?
What is what?
What she's doing?
Oh, she's got the coolest job. So she's our court reporter, and she has this amazing bevy of equipment up there. And her responsibility is to take down everything we say exactly as it's said. So so her name is Kathy Leach. So you could get her card and you could email her after this, and you could purchase a copy of this conversation, which includes this moment. It's really kind of cool. So
yeah, I would like that.
So you can get a card from her. If you want to purchase a copy of the transcript, you can. But her job is to make certain that 5 years from now, if we need to figure out what we both said here, there's a record of it.
Yeah, I like to keep records of that.
Yeah.
So they don't do the typing no more.
So, well, there are.
They still do the typing? Okay.
Yeah, upstairs.
Same thing, but different, just as good.
Gotcha.
So anyway, good question.
Appreciate it.
Have a good day. All right. Issue the warrants, forfeit the cash bonds. It's 11:44. Does anybody else need anything else before we adjourn? Okay. Then we're adjourned until 1:30, and my goal at 1:30 is to start